Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today I'm sharing some easy spring gnomes with a Dollar Tree craft supply. If you'd like to make them with me, just boop, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here crafting. And if you have been here a while, you know that Better Homes and Gardens featured my original woodblock rustic gnomes. And even though they've been duplicated many times by others, I still love them. These cuties do not feature the eyebrows, but you can obviously add those on, and you can even make braids, whatever you would like. This is just for inspiration. All right, so here are the supplies. We're using pretty basic. If you can't access a saw or have no scrap wood, that's okay. Go to Etsy or Amazon and you can buy woodblock triangles pre-done. I'm going to use 3 different sizes, all the same width and thickness. I have 1 inch and 3/4 inch wood rounds to be used for the noses, but you can use pom-poms, felt, balls. I am going to be using chalk paint and a foam brush, as well as sanding block in order to sand down roughly my pieces, water, and a shop towel to remove all the dust and sand. I'm going to be using a Mongolian fir in white, but I thought, you know, it matches my Dollar Tree vinyl, but you can use craft fur, you can use swatches, you can use raffia, you can use anything you'd like yarn. I'm going to not show this whole process, but we're just going to sand everything. Even though I have these cuts in mind from my saw, I'm going to leave them there. After sanding, I just wiped everything down, and then I protected my work surface with a nice silicone mat because I'm going to paint. I did all sides of these in 2 coats. The first coat is pretty light and the second coat is a little bit heavier. So the reason I painted the front and the back and the sides is because the Dollar Tree vinyl is pretty thin and I really wanted those colors to pop, so I knew they would pop on white. So this first coat, you can see the wood is soaking up some of it, and that's okay. We're just going to hit it with a heat gun, and that helped dry everything so that we could put on a second coat. For this second coat, I did use the same chalk paint, and I let it air dry just to make sure that if I was going to rip up my vinyl, it had less of a chance to actually remove that paint. So this is the Dollar Tree vinyl. It's not the best quality stuff. I wouldn't probably put it on a cup and expect that to run through the dishwasher, but it is a beautiful print. This one is the floral in navy and pink. They have Christmas ones in buffalo check. They have sparkle glitter ones. There's a lot they have at my Dollar Tree, so check yours. All I did was lay the front side of my triangle down onto the back of the vinyl and then trace the 2 sides. I did add a little tiny lip, so maybe like 1/32 of an inch, because I needed it to fall over the edges in order to make sure the sides stuck. So I'm just going to like roll over just a tiny piece of the edge. And the reason is because we don't want that vinyl to lift, so we're going to sand it down. I tried a couple different application methods with this and will tell you that this is the best way. Take off the very bottom of your triangle and then pull the paper off and then squish it down as you go. You can use your hand, you can use a credit card or a Cricut or other cutting machine scraper, but either way, it's going to really be an easy application because this is the thinnest vinyl. I used the warmth from my hands to really press it into all the grooves, and then I also used it on these 2 edges here. Actually 3 because I did the bottom as well, and I just pressed it down over those sides and made sure the very top was adhered. Okay, so you can see I'm just pressing it down over the edges. And then I did this for all 3 of my sizes. Obviously, you don't have to do 3 of them, but I just repeated this process. And on this one, I'm going to show you, this is the taller one. I'm going to show you the mess up. So I removed all of the paper and then applied it, had a huge bubble in the center. It wasn't aligned, ripped it off, applied it again. Watch this. All the way down, squished it down, and then I end up removing it. I sped this up a little bit so you don't have to work, but look, no paint came up. So I don't think this is a very sticky vinyl, but it is adhering, so I thought I would just let you know. Once you sand down the edges, it's on there for good, but until then, you can play with it a little bit. You can see me pulling, stretching, making sure it's good on all sides before I press it down in the center with the scraper, and then use my hands to get those ridges and then as well as the pushing over the sides. All right, so next step is just to go from the top and go in a downward motion on all of the sides, and including the bottom, to make sure you can just run that sandpaper right over the edge. It will take off a little bit of vinyl. You may have some color transfer, so keep that in mind, but this is the best way to make sure that edge is down and will not adhere or uplift. So you can see I've got all those done, and then I decided to do the opposite sides of mine as well. You don't have to do that. I just wanted them in case they were in the center of the table or something. I had a really pretty display on both sides. But you can see, I mean, that is as easy as it became. This is not, you know, this is not a hard craft to do. It only took me one time of messing up before I actually realized the best way is to use the paper as you go. So here you can see I'm just going to stair step my beards down by size. So I'm just getting rough estimates for the width and then the height. I'm using a long pile fur, so I don't need as much fabric cut as you would think. The first thing I did is I actually made mustaches for all of mine, which is just the same width as the beard. And then all I did was cut a 1/2 inch height because I'm going to end up folding those over. If you're new to cutting faux fur, I have a video on that for you, but the gist of it is just cut the fabric backing with an X-Acto knife. Don't press through the fur, just cut that fabric. So here I just transferred my measurements over to the back of the fur and then used my X-Acto knife after finding center and just ripped it off. I have no fur transfer because we just cut it easily. There you go. And then repeat it with the other beard. And so now I have beards and mustaches, okay? If you just want to do the beard, however, I'm going to show you a trick to make that top edge look really nice and clean. All right, so let's move those out of the way. In order to make the top of a beard look great so you don't have to hide it under a hat, you just take the very, very top, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and glue that down facing toward the pile of the fur. So that way it's just going to make a little hump of fur right here along the top. And you can attach that and look, it'll look really, really great. If you want to do a mustache, just go ahead and you're going to put this on the table, just FYI, so you don't burn yourself, but I end up doing that. So you're going to put it down and then just fold over just the fabric backing, again, in the direction of the pile, going from the top down. And if you want a posable mustache, just pop in a little bit of floral wire or a twisted over pipe cleaner, and you will get the same effect. All right, so once I have that done, I'm going to grab a brush or a comb or something I can split the middle. So I have to find the middle first, so I'm just going to bring the two ends of it together, just finding a rough middle. And then I'm going to use my brush and fingers to center that, which means you're just trying to find the fur backing, that fabric backing, because that is what we're going to glue our nose onto. It's going to look just like that. All right, so first thing, put it onto your gnome body and then just glue it down. I just use hot glue. This is a SureBonder detail tip glue gun. It is corded. It is not dual temp, but I absolutely love it. It takes the mini glue sticks as well. All right, so make sure you get the corners and the sides down for all of the beard, and then you're going to put the mustache on the wood block above the beard. And the reason is because we want a nice strong adherence, and to get that, we're going to add the glue right along that seam of the two pieces of fabric, and then we're going to just attach it. To put on your wood nose or any other nose, just split that fur to the fabric backing and add a generous portion of hot glue. Once you get that on there, press the nose down into that glue and let it kind of just seep up the sides a little bit. Don't try and move it or squiggle it, just let it adhere. That's going to give you the best join possible. Just brush everything out, make him ready for the big show, and you're done. I repeated this for a few times, boop, because I loved it, but let me know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for being here. Please share this and be sure to subscribe.